And this is what they look like when you cure them. See, you're not losing anything. See how thin this is? It's not like you're losing a whole big section of onion. And now that will look brown and perfect. And once it's brown all the way over, that's dried up. The bottom's dried up. They're cured. And then you put them somewhere that's cool. See, these are in dappled sunlight. These apple trees and pine trees protected from direct sunlight. You don't want to bake them. You don't want to put them in a hot garage. You don't want to put them inside of a metal building. You don't want to put them in a shed with the door shut because there's no air circulation. I do it at home on the porch. And we have jalousie windows, and we open the jalousie windows all up, and air flows through there. And these will turn. But now you have a perfect onion, and you just have to wait for it to become brown. And if you see it have one little place like that, that is in the next layer, I leave it alone. That happens quite frequently, but usually the onion will be white. But I'm not taking another whole layer off for that little piece, because that's already started to brown, and it'll all be brown and you won't even notice it. So you just take the outer layer off, look like that, set them so they can dry, and don't touch. You don't want to put them all on top of each other. Like these, I'm doing like regular yellow onions, because these are small, and we'll use them or give them away or freeze them. But see, you wouldn't put all of them in a box like that after you peeled them and made them look like that, because everywhere they touch, it wouldn't turn brown. Not to get long-winded. At this stage, the onion has dried. You've cut the top off. The roots have been cut off. This skin was what was in the ground. It's hard to get off. You can do it, but it's hard to get off. Now, in the earlier video, I showed what a perfect onion would look like, and it had a little brown spot on it, and I wasn't really worried about that. But that's because those onions got knocked over early, and they got to be used first because they won't store long. When you're trying to store a onion for a longer period of time, up to 3, 4, 5 months, a sweet onion, you have to go up under this neck and try to get the first little membrane. You have to really be careful, because if you get too deep, you pull off a large layer. And once you get that little tiny little thing loose, because this is going to dry up, is you can pull that down, and once you get an opening big enough, it will come completely off the onion. And then you just take a little paring knife and keep going on it all the way around the onion, but you're just trying to take off this paper thin outer brown layer, and that way you get the perfect onion. And when you get the perfect onion, most of them come off easier than this, to be honest with you. When you get the perfect onion, and then that layer that you leave, the white, turns brown, it is cured, sealed up, both ends, no imperfections, no brown spots to discolor, and it would just be a perfect uniform brown onion. I wasn't real clear when I was watching the videos to put this on YouTube, that if I left that little brown spot there, because we're going to use those up right away. This onion I hope to use all the way up into December. Now I'll just leave that in a very nice place that isn't too hot, because you want it to cure and it will turn brown all over. Another thing, while you're curing these, it doesn't matter a whole lot on the temperatures, as long as you're in like 70-degree range. But while they're curing, if they get really hot, they might start shooting out green shoots trying to grow. If you keep them in a cooler temperature while they dry, you know, anywhere 45 to 65 degrees, maybe 70, with good air circulation, they will dry and not try to send up a new shoot. And I'm sure you've seen onions that you bought that when you cut them open, they had a shoot coming out the end, and one of the inside layers had turned green because it was trying to grow. But that's how you end up with a perfect onion. Well, 2 evenings ago there was a thunderstorm to the west of us coming this way, and we couldn't take the chance. So we pulled all those onions off the camper, and I put up a 4x8 sheet of plywood on sawhorses, brought the cardboard in here and all the onions and stacked them up. And I would like them to be getting a little more air. I've been trying to adjust them to get the greener ones up near the top. But I've had this fan running on them. I've got these windows open. These are the ones that we picked earlier. And see how it's slowly turning brown? The ones I peeled to show you how they would keep the longest. And anyway, that's about 300 onions. And these are the ones from the other day that were falling over. And I've shuffled these around several times. And they're all drying up. So they'll work. Well, they've dried out enough to cut most of the tops off. I haven't cut all the roots off. I've done it on some of them. And then on the larger ones, I'm peeling them and making them white. They've just been sitting in here with the windows open. This building doesn't get that hot. All the heat at least stays in the ceiling. And I've just been running that fan on it. Now we'll show you how the garden looks as we're getting ready to go home after 10 days down here. And we're both tired. We have to go home to rest up.